Hello everybody and welcome back to another one of our 7-star Terra raid build videos. This one I saw coming a bit further out than the announcement, so I've had some time to think about these sets and kind of sit on them, and I think I've come to a good couple of them, but first let's talk about what the actual raid boss is going to be. We've got the 7-star Tyranitar on the horizon in later this month. I think it's later this week technically at the time of recording this, I think. Maybe, probably, we'll see. Yes, it's definitely later this week. Anyway, Tyranitar, of course, being a pseudo-legendary Pokemon, is very powerful. And obviously, these 7-star Terra raids are notoriously difficult, so I definitely recommend building one of these sets, or maybe using one to build your own sets in your own to counter this Pokemon, because not everything is going to work, I'm going to be honest. But let's get right into it. Tyranitar, of course, is a Rock and Dark type Pokemon. When it's not Terastallized, of course, as a raid boss, it's going to be permanently Terastallized to the Ghost type, which is very interesting. Wasn't really expecting that, but, fair enough. Okay. When it comes to moves, Tyranitar has a lot of very powerful moves, namely Stone Edge, getting a huge damage output with that stab boost as well. That's going to keep, because even though it's Terastallized, it still keeps its stab boost, so keep that in mind. Thunderfang is a great coverage option for Tyranitar here. Crunch, of course, getting the other stab side of the Dark type, and Summoning is a pretty alright ground type move. Earthquake, of course, is another great ground move this Pokemon gets. Rock Slide could be used to try to get some flinches. It could be kind of annoying. I definitely see this thing running Shadow Claw based on the fact that it's Terra Ghost. It's really only Ghost type move that's halfway usable. It's not great or anything, but I think they'll put it on there just to kind of justify that Ghost typing. Ice Punch is another great stab option. Same with Fire Punch and Dragon Claw. Or not stab option, excuse me, coverage option. Same with Fire Punch and Dragon Claw, which are both good for coverage on Tyranitar, and it could run that. Of course, Tyranitar has the Sandstream / Unnerve ability. It has one of those too. It's probably... So I'd say it's going to run Sandstream because that's way more iconic for Tyranitar, but normally these Terra raids run the hidden ability, so I kind of believe Unnerve, which is fine because I don't think any of our builds here have berries anyway. As a Ghost-type Pokemon, Tyranitar is only going to be weak to two things, those being Dark and Ghost types. You probably won't want to use a Ghost type though, because Tyranitar is going to be hitting for you for super effective damage, both with its Shadow Claws and Crunches. Of course, Tyranitar is going to be in raids, two sets. It's going to be in March 28th to March 30th, and then once again from April 4th to April 6th. With that being said, let's get over into our sets. I got a little note here of the specifics of each set. Our first one here, we've got Tyranitar. Tyranitar is actually a pretty good counter for an enemy Tyranitar, believe it or not. Of course, you're going to want to give the Shell Valhalla item, and it's going to want to be Terra type Dark, which you're probably going to have to Terra Crystal for, or like change its Terra type because you can only actually catch Larvitar with the ground or rock Terra type. If you catch a Tyranitar in the wild, I don't know if you really can, but if you somehow manage to, it might have Terra type Dark. Let's get over to its moves though. This Pokemon is going to be running Crunch as its main damage output. It's going to be running Iron Defense, Breaking Swipe, and Curse as great options to kind of set up a little bit. This Tyranitar is kind of meant to deal a bit of damage, but also last a while against the enemy Tyranitar. So I'd recommend leading with probably an Iron Defense, then maybe a few Curses to keep boosting your defense and your attack. You'll be lowering your speed, but that doesn't really matter in these. You can also Breaking Swipe if you want to start building your Terra while hurting the enemy Tyranitar, because Breaking Swipe, of course, lowers the attack stat if the Pokemon hits. And then once you Terra, start pressing Crunch. It doesn't really matter what ability this Pokemon has, although I recommend Unnerve, because if the enemy Tyranitar doesn't set up a Sandstorm, you don't really want to either in case some of your teammates will get hurt by that. So I'd definitely recommend Unnerve over Sandstream just to avoid Sandstream realistically. When it comes to its nature, in this Pokemon will be plus attack, minus special attack, which is adamant. When it comes to its EVs, a little bit of a weird spread here. We're really going to prioritize attack, but I put a little bit into defense just to keep this Pokemon around a little bit longer. I put 252 into HP, 188 into attack, and 68 into defense. And then when it comes to IVs, everything matters except this Pokemon's special attack stat. Moving on to our next build, we've got King Gambit here. King Gambit's a pretty alright option. I was kind of looking at it for a while and trying to make it work, and I think I've got a set that can work moderately well. King Gambit, of course, a very strong physical attacker, and we took advantage of that. King Gambit, of course, is a Dark and Steel type Pokemon. You're going to give it the Terra type of Dark and give it the Shell Valhalla item as well. When it comes to its moves, Kowtow Cleave, of course, is going to be its main damage output. Swords Dance, Thunder Wave, and Iron Defense are also on there to kind of either buff you or hurt Tyranitar. I'd honestly recommend leading with a Thunder Wave because those Paraprocs are very nice when they happen. They can really change the tide of the battle, even in a Terra Raid battle, especially because then your teammates might be able to gain an advantage on that as well. I'd recommend maybe leading with a Thunder Wave, using a Swords Dance and kind of gauging how much damage you're taking. And if you're not taking a lot, maybe set up a Swords Dance or two before pressing that Kowtow Cleave. You've got Defiant as an ability too, which is a fantastic ability. If Tyranitar is somehow able to lower your stats, Instead, it'll lower your stat, but also sharply boost your attack stat, which is very, very nice. When it comes to EVs, I maxed out HP and attack, so I put 252 points in each and put the last 4 into defense. This Pokemon is Adamant as well, which is plus attack and minus special attack. And when it comes to its IVs, everything matters except its special attack stat. Moving on to our next Pokemon, we've got our first real defensive build here. We've got Umbreon. Umbreon, of course, a pure dark Pokemon. It's going to be Terra type dark, and we're going to give it the held item of Leftover, so it has a little bit of passive regen. Thunder Wave, this Pokemon is very much kind of like mess with Tyranitar, keep your team alive type set. We've got Thunder Wave and Mud Slap to make it so Tyranitar is not dealing a lot of damage. If you use Thunder Wave, of course, it might be paralyzed, and then Mud Slap will lower its accuracy every time you hit it, so it'll be hitting moves less and less. And with moves like Stone Edge and Rock Slide without guaranteed accuracy, you're going to notice it, I'll tell you that. If you need a little bit of extra damage output on your team, you've got Foul Play on there. Umbreon doesn't have a fantastic attack stat, and Foul Play takes advantage of Tyranitars instead of yours, so it's a very good way to kind of maximize damage output on a Pokemon that doesn't have a great offense otherwise. Moonlight is a great way to heal your Umbreon in case you don't want to waste any heal cheers, but I definitely recommend pressing heal cheer if you have them, sort of to like not only heal you, but to heal your team and keep them alive, because again, that's what this Pokemon prioritizes. When it comes to its stats, you're going to want to put 252 in HP, 252 in defense, and 4 into speed. None of the other stuff really matters, so I thought, maybe put a little speed. You might be able to outspeed the Tyranitar. Probably not, but you don't really have anywhere else to put those points, honestly. So I just put them in speed. It's whatever. Its nature is going to be bold, which is up defense minus special attack. When it comes to IVs, everything matters except this Pokemon's attack. Yeah, just its attack doesn't matter. That's right. Of course, this Pokemon's going to have Inner Focus as its ability. Just in case Tyranitar does run Rock Slide, it'll be nice to not get flinched by that. No other ability is really great on this Pokemon here, so Inner Focus works just fine. Moving on to our next Pokemon, we've got another fun offensive one. We've got Crocodile here. I made this Pokemon a little bit bulky just to, handle hits a little bit better, but of course, Crocodile is a ground dark Pokemon. We're going to give it the Terra type of Dark and give it the health item of Shell Bell. When it comes to its moves, Crunch is your main damage output. Mud Slap is on there for the same reason on Umbreon, and same with Breaking Swipe for Tyranitar. I'd recommend leading with a Breaking Swipe, making it so when Tyranitar does hit, it doesn't do a whole lot more damage. And then using Mud Slap to make it so it'll hit even less. Bulk Up's on there once you realize you're taking hits pretty well and you want to start setting up, deal some damage back. Press a few of those, then start crunching away. What's nice about Crocodile is even if you do go down, you have the ability Intimidate, which is very important on this Pokemon. It makes it so when Crocodile hits the field, either at the start of battle or if it dies and comes back, it'll intimidate the Tyranitar and lower its attack by a stage, which is very, very nice. You don't want to faint, but if you do, it's nice to come back on the field with an Intimidate, of course. When it comes to its EVs, I put 252 points in HP, 172 in attack, and 84 into defense here. When it comes to its nature, it's Adamant as well, which is up attack minus special attack. And when it comes to its IVs, everything matters except its special attack stat. Again, I mentioned Intimidate, but it's a very important thing on this Pokemon. It's kind of why I chose it, so I definitely recommend prioritizing that for anything else. The other ability this Pokemon gets, the other two, aren't fantastic. It's Anger Point and Moxie, if I'm remembering, both of which are kind of useless in this fight. Anger Point could be cool if you get critical hit, but you might not. So I definitely recommend Intimidate because that's going to be consistently useful. Moving on to our next Pokemon here, we have got Samurott. Samurott, of course, being a water dark Pokemon, you're going to want to give it the Terra type of Dark. This is Hisuian Samurott, I should mention. Very important, and give it the held item of the Shell Bell. When it comes to its moves, this Pokemon's a little bit interesting. This was actually the first Pokemon I thought of building for this. It was kind of hard to get because I had to go back to Legends Arceus, but that's fine. If you got access to this Pokemon, it's fun. This was also a 7-star raid boss, so you might already have a level 100 one, which will be very useful if you don't want to waste those candies. You're going to give it Chilling Water and Night Slash as its only attacking moves. I definitely recommend leading with a couple Chilling Waters, but Night Slash is your main damage output that actually gets boosted by its Sharpness ability. Swords Dance and Focus Energy are also great on there. I definitely recommend leading with Focus Energy because one thing people don't realize is even if the raid boss clears stat changes, it doesn't clear Focus Energy, which is very nice. So I'd probably go for a couple, maybe lead with Focus Energy, go for 2, maybe 3 Chilling Waters. Then if you're last in a while, go for a Swords Dance and start throwing out some Sharpness boosted Night Slashes. Your Chilling Waters will bring you to your Terra, which will be very nice because it technically does damage as well as lowers Tyranitar's attack, which is very, very nice. When it comes to its EVs, you want to max out HP, so 252 points, put 252 in attack as well, and put the last 4 in defense to make it so you can take a hit a little bit better. Its nature is going to be Adamant, which is up attack and minus special attack, and you're going to want to care about every IV except special attack. Realistically, special attack kind of matters because Chilling Water isn't a physical move, but you're not using Chilling Water for damage anyway. You're using it for its effect and to get you to Terra, so it doesn't matter too much if your special attack isn't perfect if you want to save yourself a bottle cap. Sharpness, again, is this Pokemon's ability. That's very important. Prioritize that more than anything on this Pokemon. And moving on to a very fun build here. This one, ooh, this is a fun one. I don't know if this is going to work well. So if you want to run this one, wait and see what Tyranitar is rocking before you build it, because it might just get completely blown away. But I saw an opportunity here, and I wanted to run a Primate. Primate, of course, being a fighting type Pokemon. You're going to get the Terra type of Stellar, and you'll see why that is in just a sec. That's the only time I've recommended a Stellar type, but it's the only thing that really works on this Pokemon, because you're going to be using a Ghost type move against Tyranitar, but you don't want Tyranitar to hit you for super effective damage. So you want the Terra boost that you get from Stellar or Ghost, but you don't want to become Ghost type, so Stellar is your only option there. I'm going to give it the held item of Eviolite, so it's taken way less damage because, of course, Primate can evolve and we chose not to, so Eviolite boosts your defense and special defense by quite a bit. When it comes to its moves, you want to give it Rage Fist. Now, you might be asking, why not run Annihilate? Annihilate is Ghost type, so it'll be hit super effective by things like Shadow Claw. You don't want that, which is why we have Primate, but Primate still gets Rage Fist, which is a very good move in raids. So, that's why I chose Primate as opposed to Annihilate. Bulk up, Focus Energy, and Screech. That's just what you run on Annihilate anyway. Lead with a Focus Energy, maybe a Screech or two if you want to start building up Rage Fist damage, because Rage Fist takes how many times you've been hit and like multiplies its damage based on that. So I'd open with probably a Focus Energy, then maybe a Screech, and then start pressing Rage Fist. This Pokemon has a healing issue. It can't heal super well, so you might need to rely on your allies or heal cheering. So keep that in mind. This Pokemon won't be super self-sufficient, but it'll be a fun build if you can get it working. Defiant, great ability on this Pokemon. If your stats lower for any reason, you get a sharp attack boost, which is great. When it comes to its EVs, this is a little bit of a weird spread. 252 into HP as always, but 76 into attack and 180 into defense. I really prioritize defense there because Primate doesn't have insane defenses, but it already has a pretty high attack stat, and Rage Fist will start hitting a pretty high damage output anyway. When it comes to its nature, I did Impish, which is up defense minus special attack. And when it comes to its IVs, everything matters except its special attack. You're prioritizing physical here. And hold on, did I mention? Okay, hold on. This Umbreon is also Impish, isn't it? I think it is, because it's up defense minus special attack. Umbreon is Impish. Keep that in mind. I don't know why I have bold in my notes. It's not bold, although I guess, wouldn't bold work as well? Okay, it's Impish as well. Like, Primate is the same nature as it. So just keep that in mind. I apologize for that little mistake there. But I'm going to call that here. Those are the builds that we've got for this upcoming 7-star raid. I really hope Primate works. Probably won't, but I really hope it does. The other ones work great. Honestly, Samurot's probably your safest bet. But Umbreon is a very good support option too. So keep that in mind while you're building these Pokemon. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you guys out there in those Terra raid dens, and good luck out there. Have a good day.